Ms. You want to take the floor?
Yes, thank you.
Please.
Thank you. I would welcome the opportunity to look again at this complicated and diverse area and our efforts to plan for the maritime regions. And thank you for your opinion that we have on the table. However, your report is not as balanced as I would like, focusing mainly on islands. And of course, the definition of an island, I'm not quite sure, it must be written down somewhere, but I come from what we consider to be an island, and I think in your report you're thinking of something considerably smaller than the UK and Ireland. And I will be tabling amendments that include the following areas: protecting the maritime environment and ecosystems, the use of coastal regions for commerce and tourism, and services that protect and police our coasts. In the area of ecosystems, in the face of climate change, we don't know what this will do exactly to our areas, but we are already seeing changes with storms, flooding, sea warming and new species along our coastlines. The warnings are great and varied. Some warnings say that the sea levels will rise considerably. Some warnings say that it will get considerably warmer. On the west coast of the UK, we are hearing warnings that the Gulf Stream may switch off, which will mean that our seas become considerably colder and that we have Arctic-type winters. So, and also increased salination. So all these are great changes to the ecosystem that we know at the moment. There are lots of protective legislations already in place, and these range from bird directives to the carbon emissions on heavy shipping. Natura 2000 and others have led to a plethora of protection classifications along our coastlines in the Union. In the UK alone, there are 6 different types of protection. And this is something I think that we need to be looking at to make it easier and simpler for people to understand what type of protection is in place on the ecosystems of our coasts. Coastal regions also are a region of enormous amount of energy, and how this will be harvested in the future is an area that we must manage well, from wind farms to wave energy recovery to tidal surges. All these are engineering events that will be taking place in areas where there is tourism and shipping and freight movement. I'll move on then to the use of coastal regions for commerce and traffic and tourism. In my region, which is the closest to mainland Europe, is Dover. Dover is an enormously important port for European trade. It has £80 billion, pounds not euros, of trade each year. And over the past 20 years, the number of road haulage units using this port has doubled, with now 2.5 million units using this port on a regular basis. And any disturbance, whether that is storms at sea or whether disruption on the tunnel or strikes of industrial strikes, cause enormous disruption both in France and in the UK, going quite a long way inland. But Dover is also a tourist port with nearly 3 million tourist vehicles passing through this port annually. And I know in your opinion you mentioned tourist traffic, but I think the volumes that we have going across the tunnel is enormous. It's also the second largest UK cruise port, with 14 million passengers using that port annually. So you can see that Dover is just one port, but it has enormous traffic going east-west and 80% of it going to Calais, in an area of sea shipping that is the busiest in the world, going north-south of freight shipping going north-south. So it is a complicated and very busy piece of sea route. And I think it comes under that. I'm not quite sure what the interpretation does with it, but to say short sea shipping is a complicated thing to say in English and has to be done with care. And I know that also there are large and small-scale fishing communities all along our coastlands, and these are areas that I know Commissioner Damanaki is already working on, how these, the common fisheries policy impacts on these communities, and that's something that I would like to see there. And finally, the services that protect and police our coast. You have mentioned this, and I know that this is an area of great concern, and anybody who is not aware of the concern of policing our coastlands needs to go to floor 3 and see the exhibition of contraband stuff that is on display there. We need not to be just talking Coast Guard to Coast Guards, but Coast Guards, but horizontally, as you say, the Coast Guards talking to the Navy, and the police force is talking to the marine protection agencies. It's interagency and member states and regions that these services need to be talking, because it's a complicated area out there. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to tabling my amendments and working with you to put this forward. Thank you very much.